What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for January 30th, 2023. Probably going to be a quick one today because I don't know how long my voice is going to hold out. But what a game. And they came out and did exactly what they needed to do. And going into it, I knew that they needed to put pressure on Purdy. Didn't think they were going to put pressure on and hurt him on the first play. Looking at the replay, that I don't know how it was his elbow. Like, I don't know if it was hyperextended or what, but forced them basically into a one-dimensional team, and then having to bring Brock Purdy back in. You just kind of knew, and it allowed the Eagles to just focus on shutting down the run and Christian McCaffrey. But good win. Again, I like how they do what is necessary to win. So they didn't necessarily need to pass. They got up and they were able to pound the ball against that number one defense. Don't forget that was the big thing coming in, was the 49ers number one defense. And everybody seemed to forget about our number one offensive line. So very, very good win. Gives now Jalen another 2 weeks to kind of rest up and get that shoulder healthy, because I think they're going to need it. And haven't even started looking ahead yet to the Chiefs. But it should be, I mean, that's another 2 weeks for Patrick Mahomes to heal up his ankle. So both teams should be relatively healthy heading into that game. And it's definitely kind of it's their offense versus our defense. Now, they had more of a down year, I would think, by their standards on their offense, but they're still explosive. Kelsey's going to come out and play. Mahomes is always dangerous, so it should be a good battle, I think, and it should be fun the next 2 weeks too, seeing all the Andy Reid storylines and whatnot. Interesting to see. Like I said, it should be fun to see how some of those stories go. I'm sure I will cover a lot of the Andy Reid stuff on this, as well as Back to the Future. But just a very, very fun time to be an Eagles fan. The crowds were inside the lake. It was just electric. There was definitely not as many 49ers fans as I would have thought, the way they hyped it up coming in. But even after the game, I think the fans across the city, I didn't get really to watch the news yet, just getting the kids ready for school. But I didn't hear of anything bad happening. I ended up, not by choice, I guess, but we kind of walked down Broad Street to Oregon, and then because they kept shutting the streets down, so we were trying to get an Uber back home. So we were like in neighborhoods in South Philly, and everybody was just having a good time, just behaving, partying. I don't know what happened further downtown or like up in the Northeast, but we've been here before, and which is good. And like I said, I'm just so excited for this team, for this Super Bowl. We will have more leading up to it as we get closer. But big win for the Eagles. They did what they had to do. They dominated like they have all year. And I mean, if you think about it, they were hands down the best team in the NFC all year. No matter what anybody wants to say about the 49ers, no matter what anybody wants to say about the Cowboys, Minnesota, any of them, it was the Eagles basically from day one. They were the best team in the NFC. They're going to the Super Bowl because they're the best team in the NFC. But like I said, we will have more on the Eagles as the next 2 weeks unfold, and I'm just super, super pumped. Flyers are off until after the All-Star break at this point. I guess they have a nice little extended vacation. There's a few games in the NHL this week, but they're off. Sixers take on the Magic tonight down at the Wells Fargo Center. The Magics they're like a sneaky team that could end up giving them some trouble. But the Sixers should take care of business, looking for their eighth in a row, coming off that big win against the Nuggets. We are going to stay with the Sixers for today's This Day in Philly Sports. January 30th, we're going to go back to 2001. We've talked a little bit about that 2000-2001 team that went on the run to the NBA Finals. On this day, they had a 4-game winning streak stopped by the Toronto Raptors, 96-89, a team they would eventually meet in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference that year. But going into this game, like, they had won 16 of their last 19. They got off to such a hot start. They were 34-11 at this point. In this game, AI had 38, Tyrone Hill 16 points, and I think he had like 11 rebounds. Kind of one of those things. Theo Ratliff had a very quiet game, and I think this is right around that time when you started seeing the big picture and seeing that they weren't going to be able to compete for a championship with Theo Ratliff. So this is going into the All-Star game, and some of the trade talks about getting Dikembe Mutombo or another big man started to happen, and we're about 2-3 weeks from that. We'll get more into the impact of that, but the Sixers did after this game go on a 7-game winning streak anyway. That kind of led them into the discussion for that. Excuse me, for the Theo Ratliff or trading for Theo Ratliff. But like I said, we'll get more into that as we get closer. Just know that it's coming on the horizon. My voice is about to go, so I apologize for the shorter pod. I will totally make up for it as the week goes on. But huge win for our Eagles. Everybody go celebrate today. Take the day off of work like I did. Just kind of watch the replay of the game. Do what you got to do. Get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Whatever you got to do. But huge win. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're taking on our old buddy Andy Reid. So go have yourself some Monday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.